Yo, they're doing construction outside, so might be a little noisy. Oh, I should have water. Whatever. I'll try not to be long. We'll see how that goes. Um, so this is week 7 to 15 recap, and you would think that would make this very long, but I don't think it'll be too long. And I actually shot a video for week 11 that got messed up because my Bluetooth headset was plugged in. And a quick shout out to my guy Nick Chen. He bought me all these dope shirts, but I just discovered, I was trying to look up the brand, that this guy, I don't know how to say his name in English. The English name is crazy. Jizo something in Japanese, but it's the guy. It's my current favorite bodhisattva. This is like a play on this bodhisattva. Should I bring this up to the camera? Well, there you can kind of see it. My current favorite bodhisattva is based off this dude, and the Chinese name is Di Tang Wang Pusa. Pusa is Chinese for bodhisattva. I don't know if I got all those tones correct. So that's cool. And did I mention this in that other, I'm not going to talk about the temple too much because I just made that video about the temple, but I tried to get rid of this so many times recently, 2 or 3 times, and every time I try to get rid of it, something is like, no, you got to keep it. And I bought it's cool though, because I bought this in Harlem. Can you see what this is? The Black Panther, little Black Panther medallion. One of the times I tried to get rid of it, I was going to take it to the secondhand store because I'm like, man, this is, I don't need this. I keep feeling that way because it feels so powerful. But this woman that lives nearby that I'm kind of friends with, she's like, where are you going? I'm going to the secondhand store. Here's all the stuff I got. She's like, oh, I'll take that. She's like, this? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. She put it on my head. No, you have to keep that. So that's, so I've been wearing, it's my favorite bodhisattva right now. Oh, he's the bodhisattva that won't become enlightened until all beings in hell have been enlightened or delivered from the hard life, the hard knock life. All right, so here, let me go. I wanted to get some kind of update out before I did my whole 108 recap video. So some of the things I picked up on. Most of the notes are going to come from week 11. And then in week 11, I summarized 7 up to 11. One of the things, I've been talking about this concept of spirit family, which is still an important concept, I believe. But what I realized through some experiences and thinking, there's this concept, Yun Fen, that is hard to translate into English, but Yun Fen is kind of like fate and destiny, and it's not exactly those things, but it's kind of like that. I plan on writing a book called Yun Fen, but using Yun Fen is kind of connected to spirit as well, and spirit family is still a good idea. There's people that you're gonna develop long-term relationships with, spiritually, as a community, whatever. But I realized with Yun Fen, you can have these very deep, meaningful spiritual relationships that might last a day. It might just be that day. It could be for a week. Could be for a month. Could be for a day, and then 10 years later, it happens again. And I guess when I wrote this, I was thinking forget spirit family. It's all Yun Fen. But I don't. I've already updated that. where yin fen is another component of a spirit family, where like someone just might show up. Like for example, there was one time I was in the hospital, I was freaking out, manic, and this dude just came out of nowhere and was like, put his hand on my shoulder, and just like he went to like every meeting I had and all the stuff I had to do, and then left. But in that moment, homie was family. Here I have spirit bubble is greater than capitalist bubble. Um, the concept there with spirit bubble, I was like, I need my hands. I need my hands. And then I would say spirit and community bubble. But the idea is like if you generate a bunch of money, you can make kind of this protective bubble for yourself and your family. And that's how most people. That's what we do. That's how a capitalist society is designed. But what I was saying with spirit bubble / community bubble, like spirit is hard for people to understand. I guess that's more like I have this here as notes to put on video, but I have to spend more time explaining what spirit is and how it works. But if we use community bubble, like a community bubble is just way more resilient than a capitalist bubble. And when I say I have a greater than, that doesn't mean you don't work on your capitalist bubble as well. But like your community bubble is just more resilient. It's just more powerful than your capitalist bubble. It can your house goes up in flames. Like you got insurance and whatever, but with a strong community bubble, you got places to stay throughout that. Let's say your house goes up in flames and you don't have a insurance. The community bubble is just way more powerful than capitalist bubble. I have attain, maintain, and life management in here. I don't know what that's about. There might be attain, maintain. I think I posted a link to the blog I made as attain, maintain. It's one of my parts. It was the part that was. Okay. Here I should code switching, parts, dynamic habits, and routines. Okay, this is good. This is all. So attain, maintain is or was the part of me that was like really militant about like doing habits and routines, but like everything needed to be perfect for him, for that guy, for that version of me, and things often weren't perfect. And if they weren't perfect, that part of me was like, fuck it, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But I've been able to like reassign what he does and kind of dissolve it, and it's just a part of me, and just be able to dynamically adapt to the habits and routines that make sense in the moment. And a good example of that is kind of like when my friend was staying here, I had to dynamically adjust just because how my time for the day was different. When mania popped off, like I had to dynamically adjust. And for me, I don't call mania anymore. I call it high spirit or concentrated spirit. But maybe that's a different discussion for another day. Yeah. I have something in here about the spirits are always going with. I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing. I'm guessing that. Well, one thing, whatever that meant, I am no longer categorizing different spiritual moments higher or lower than others. Like this moment I'm having with you right here, right now, is a very spiritual moment to me. Like, as I've evolved my understanding of spirit. But like then there's the day I kind of really took the temple, like I went in, I busted the locks, I started pulling all the stuff out of the temple, and police showed up, and I had to kind of do mental jujitsu battle with the police to make them go away. Then an elected official came, and I didn't have to really do jujitsu to him. I just had to explain to him what I was doing and why, and then that's where I got the green light. Now, a past version of me would rank that very high, like that, and it was, I'm not gonna like act like, that and this are the exact same thing. They're not, like being, it's like, you train for a fight and then you have the fight. These are two different experiences that have different kind of highs, but I'm just not like categorizing that as being better, if that makes sense. So like now I'm looking at all things that I do through a spiritual lens, as opposed to like specific, like, oh, only when I'm doing this ritual, only when I'm meditating, only when, no, like it's all you're moving through spirit constantly. It's just, what you. Oh, this is kind of good. Here, I'll jump over a little bit. I have listen, listen, listen. Spirit is talking, and that that's like listening, like deep listening. I can just tell you, listening to your body is a huge one. And like your I don't even know how to get into listening to your whole body, but your body will give you high level information that your brain on its own cannot. So like the brain body connection, but like just kind of listening to your thoughts as well. Hard in the beginning because your thoughts are like constantly going or whatever. But my mind is pretty blank most of the time. So then when something comes up, I just I address it or I forget about it. But like, yeah, listening to thoughts, listening to your environment. Listening to your environment is taking it in with your eyes, smelling, taking it all in and seeing where you might be getting pulled and why. Anyway, listen. Seeing people through to there, and then I have my 108 symbol, but this symbol is like has no name, but for practical purposes, I call it 108. But it represents so many different things. But I have there seeing through people to their 108, and this is like all beings are like extremely spiritual. Every single human, every single, my cats, all the trees, like they're all like spirit is coming out of them, like wow, 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 wow. The books, this pen. You see the spirit? Look at this. Look at how spiritual it is. Wait, does this come up? This move? Dude, the kids love this where you're like, look at this pen. Look at this pen. It's hard. And then you go, oh, wow, 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 wow. Oh, yeah, it kind of comes up in video. Wow, wow, wow. That was a trick I learned quite young. And it's still delivering. There's always a pen around. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, seeing through people to their 108. So for me, the 108 is like the base spiritual level, this base spiritual, thing in a person. Like they're all absolutely foundational spiritual base. And you could kind of like in the internal family systems, they have this thing where after you sort through all the parts or whatever, there's I don't know if they call it a spiritual being, but like there's like a self there that is curious and compassionate and all these things. So whatever you want to label this base spirit in people, like if you can like see through a person to their base spirit and whatever they have going on, whatever, high anxiety, angry, stress, whatever, and like you can't just magically, talk to that part of them, the deeply spiritual part, but you can, at minimum, you can like kind of see, like whatever a person's doing and whatever, like knowing that there's like a deeply spiritual part of them, and that part is just obscured, and it's obscured to them, and yeah, being able to recognize and see that part inside of people is huge. It's great. I have something in here about Wu-Tang and Kanye, and spirit. I think that was about spiritual hierarchy. I'm not sure. Like I read through that section again, and I think it's mainly like this kind of spiritual anarchy and keeping everyone and everything kind of flat. And instead of looking at Kanye or Wu-Tang like they're up there, they're right here. Me and you, right here. We're all right here. And we all have tremendous spiritual powers. And I like everybody, because it's not about necessarily what you're able to do and accomplish in this lifetime, but you're a part of an ecosystem. And like just saying hello to someone walking down the street could really, I'm not even joking, it could vibrate out and change the whole world. I'm not saying that in a goofy way. Someone, they could be ready to go and do some murder shit, and you just give them a hello and a hug. I mean, give them random people hugs. Maybe it's not the best idea, but you get what I'm saying. You connect with them. You might it might be just a thing to change this person. And I think oftentimes these people who do mass killings or whatever, they're powerful spirits that if that rage or whatever that energy could have just been shifted into something else. It can be a crazy domino effect. So moving through the world, understanding how important you are to the ecosystem. You're just very important to the ecosystem, but you don't know where your interaction might have the biggest and most powerful effect. So you just move you walk and exude powerful spirit energy. And this doesn't mean you have to go and be happy to every single you have your own energy you're managing. Someone might need to be nice to you before you can be nice to someone else. But just knowing that you're a part of this, you're part of the spiritual ecosystem, even if you don't feel like you are. You just absolutely are. Why? Oh, that was the Kanye thing. That wasn't even the 108 thing. I have I Show Slow on here. That's kind of funny. That could be my rap name. I Show Slow. And then I rap listen, apples are delicious, nutritious, and bitches love to eat them when I put them in pie. Why? I don't know. Because pie. There we go. A little Casey freestyle for you. But I have I Show Slow there, and I guess that goes good to my whole. You're part of the spiritual ecosystem. I wasn't. That was freestyling. That was more freestyling. You got some freestyle on freestyle. But the I Show Slow idea is, I have this 108 clock in mind that will go from 108. It'll go from, right now it started at 111 and it'll go to 108, 108, 108. The first 108 is 108 days. The second 108 is 108 cycles. 108 cycles is 36 years. And the third 108 would be 108 36-year cycles, which altogether would be 3,888 years. And if I'm really looking at me as being the start of this 3,888 year clock. And if that's the case, I'm just a teeny tiny, but without my time and my clock, just the Gregorian calendar that we're on. We're just tiny, we're just itsy bitsy, but you can have a huge effect again by doing. I feel like this is. Even though this video is long, I feel like it's short because it's content dense. You know what I'm saying? It's dense with content. All right. Okay. Something about spirit and spiritual language. The English language assaults spirit unless you're doing it through the lens of Jesus. The English, the Western English, they don't really like Islam. Islam is available to you, And then you have Buddhism, but most Buddhism in the U.S., I feel like it's secular Buddhism where they extract the Buddha from it. Not all of it, but some of it. So it's like your only path to spirituality in Western language is kind of like the Jesus path, which it's a fine path. I'm not. If you're a Jesus person, that's great. I'm not hating on that path, but we need diversity. We want and need diversity, but again, the English language, voodoo, a bad word. Voodoo's not bad, but it's a bad word. Witchcraft. Witchcraft isn't bad. It's good. It's good, but in English, it's a bad word. What other words are there? Voodoo, witchcraft. Basically, like all the words that we have. I guess shamanism isn't. That's pretty like okay, but a lot of the English definitions of things attack this stuff. Like anarchy is a perfect one. Anarchy is great. It's a good thing, but the English language says it's bad. So the English language makes it hard to gain mental mastery over spirit, because like even the word God, like people are like ew God, but like in Chinese there's I don't know how there's many different words for gods, because there's different levels of spiritual beings. And then I'm gonna I got Ching Shui. There's this particular god here, but like Ching Shui is so here I have next level gang signs here, and that's how the gods kind of work here. Is that like clans, like family clans, brought these gods over from China. It wasn't modern China at the time. This is like 400 years ago. They're bringing these gods over, and these gods protected them and their families, and then that's why they get big over time, because their spirits are strong and it works when people pray to them. Something I found interesting is that gods here are like many of the gods here they were real people, like Jesus. They're real people, and people built altars and whatever to these were real people that had a strong spirit that did did big stuff, and people would build altars and then eventually temples and whatever, and they would get big. So it's gods here are basically dope people. Not all the gods, but many of the Chinese folk gods, which people call Taoists, are just dope people that were doing dope shit. And that's fucking cool. And I guess like I'll jump to my project now. With the temple, I have ODB there, who was a dope person who did dope shit at the temple, and I'm building a whole website, hiphopdynasty.com, where I'm gonna immortalize different individuals that are in the realm of hip hop. So that I'll just drop that project. I got the website and the Instagram set up for that. And maybe there's not a whole lot to talk about after 11. I just talked about the hip hop thing. I just have some divination. After 11 was basically me conquering the temple and building that out, and that took a lot of energy and spiritual energy. And this is big. This is the first time I had, did I say this in the beginning already? What people call the manic episode. And I was able to stay calm and centered throughout, even though it didn't look like it to people that I was calm and centered, but I was pretty calm and centered throughout the whole thing. And the reason I was able to do this was because of the internal family systems. Oh yeah, I skipped that part. Or no, did I not skip it? Did I talk about internal family systems as it being no, I didn't. I honestly think internal family systems or something like it is the cure that I've been looking for bipolar, because for me with bipolar, when this energy would come, another part would take over, a part that's not healthy, a part that can't handle all that spirit. And yeah, and I think between internal family systems, understanding parts, and understanding spirit. These two things, understanding spirit and understanding my different parts and like relax. These two things put together, and I can't say every person with bipolar is a like. I just see myself as a shaman. I'm a shaman. I'm a shaman, son. This is shaman. You're watching shaman shit. You're watching 2025. What like how do I do I just remember this from, oh dude, I almost threw it down and I was like, I'm at the whoop myself. I grew up in Folks Nation. Yeah. So I have an affinity to Folks Nation. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah. Spirit and that. And this is the first time I whoop and it came back down and I'm not depressed and I'm taking mad medicine right now and I'm not depressed and I still got energy. You see this? I'm on meds and I got the energy. This has never happened before, not in my life ever. You see? Okay. Got a little excited there. Oh, that's it. I'll give you the 76 story though. The reason I'm giving you this 76 story, I have discovered, that I kind of operate on event-based time, and time being, let's just call it like a point. So I see the past, the present and future, all happening right now. We experience it as linear time, but I just see it as one big mass that's all happening at the same time. And you can do this as an experiment. If you start thinking this way, your thinking isn't going to make the stuff happen, but you're going to start seeing things like, whoa, why did this happen before this? Like one of the big ones, this will be the one link I put in there, is, as I'm setting up this ODB, I'm setting ODB up in the temple, or he's set up. I'm a part of this Taoist organization. I think I showed it. I'm a part of this Taoist organization where I'm like a card carrying member. I don't know if you need to see it. I'm pulling it out anyway. Yeah, where I'm a card carrying member of this Taoist organization. The front has like who got me. I go there and then I learn about the Happy Buddha being the current kind of like CEO of this age. And I'm putting this all together from Gemini, but apparently there's maybe 3 ages and we're in this final age and this Buddha's the whatever. And then like that day I'm like, oh, let me go look at that ODB video I made where when the mixtape got dropped, and it's the fucking that Buddha and ODB 17 years ago. Like, and people be like, oh, it was a coincidence. I didn't know I was gonna fucking immortalize ODB 17 years ago. I didn't know I was gonna, or 16 or whatever the fuck it was. I didn't know shit about the Happy Buddha other than like I liked him, and then I put him in the anyway. So here's a little example of that. It's a 76 story, right? So I hadn't journaled. Let's see, it's day 63. I hadn't journaled in a while, and then when I chose it, it was day 76, and I'm like, oh man, 76, that's crazy, because like back in the day, I 67. Someone might remember this. Of the 3 people that made it this far, 67 was my favorite number, because if I had 150 people paying me $67 a month, I would get $10,000. So but then 67 became a number I liked because 13 was my favorite number when I was growing up, and 13, 67, 6 and 7, you get 13. 13 was my favorite number because it was an unlucky number, and I was like, fuck that, not for me. So I'm writing all this, and I write my numerology about some other shit, and then I pulled this. Oh, and then I made. That's right. Then I made 76, like Milltown Kid's birthday. Anytime I signed up for something with Milltown Kid, I'd use 76 instead of 79, my actual birth year. So, like, all this stuff. And then I do this divination, and I find some shit about, like, it's important for, I think I was reading that shamanism book right there. Oh, actually, there's another book in front of it. You can see the colorfulness there. Um, I don't care about time anymore, dude. I shoot podcasts, son. I'm a podcaster, son or daughter. I don't know. Anyway, what tripped me out, I did this whole thing about the number 76 because it was day 76, and then my friend asked me when the temple was built, and the motherfucking temple was built in 1976. Anyway. There was some other stuff, I'm sure. Let's get out of here. We got 30 minutes on the docket. Something for you to listen to while you take a bubble bath. Peace.